Hi, Mark. Hi, everybody out there. I'm here to do 10 questions. And the first question isn't the right question because Mark said do the fifth question first. So the fifth question is, who are you? For people who don't know. And I'm John Lenahan. How you doing? I'm a magician. I'm a comedian. I'm a writer. I'm, of course, the voice of the Talking Toaster in the first season of Red Dwarf. There was another one later on, never as good as the original. And I am in a hotel room in Manchester, having just done a gig for a bathroom company, Christmas party, who didn't really want to see the show. There was another very famous comedian on with me as well, who was ignored almost as much as me, so I didn't feel bad. So I'm drinking beer and going to go to bed if I can get this thing done and sent. All right, here we go. Question number 2 is, do I like bananas or apples? And of course the answer is bananas. For anybody who's seen my act, it's like a third of my act is banana tricks. Maybe I'll do one for you here, but let's say okay. If you could appear, number 3, if you could appear in Red Dwarf Series 11, if there is one, what would you like to be and do? I'm a very happy man being the toaster, the Talking Toaster. I think the Talking Toaster should come back. I think it's a very underused character. There really was. Way back when we did the first season, I remember there was talk of the toaster taking over the ship. I think it'd be fun to have like a Hal in 2001. Have the toaster. What are you doing, Dave? Taking over the ship. I think for you guys who are writing the show and struggling, this is a concept that practically writes itself, and I'm available, and I'm the best Talking Toaster in the price range. My screen just went dead. What was the last thing you bought, and can you show us? Last thing I bought, because I just arrived today, is it's kind of boring actually. Is a cover for my Nexus 7. This is Nexus 7. I'm into Google stuff. I'm recording this on a Nexus 5, which is the brand new phone, which is awesome. I recommend it. And this is the Nexus 7. Okay. And this is the cover of my new book, which no one has ever seen before. So look at that. That's all. But it's the cover. It swivels so you can read it when you're having dinner. It's kind of dull, really. All right. Sorry, I skipped question number 1 because I went to 5, and then I went to 1, and then I went to 2. Question number 1 is for people who know nothing about Shadow Magic, my Shadow Magic books. Tell them about it. So, Shadow Magic is a novel. Well, it's 3 novels now. It's a series of 3, a trilogy, and I finished it this year. The first one is called Shadow Magic, and they're fantasy adventures based on Irish mythology. And the first one I wrote I was very proud of, and I put it out as a podcast, and it went ballistic on the net, and then HarperCollins asked if they could publish it. The second book made the Kindle Top 100 in the UK, which I'm very proud of. And this is breaking news. I just found out today. The third book, Sons of Macha, has just been named by Kindle as one of the best books of 2013. So this is brand new. This is an exclusive for the 10 questions here. I'm very proud of myself. And they're great books. And they're funny. And every chapter is a cliffhanger. And if you don't like them, I'll give you your money back. They're guaranteed. If you read Shadow Magic, if you don't like it, write to me saying your book is crap, and I'll send you an Amazon gift certificate in return email. I was actually on Danny Baker's radio show and did that, and he put a record on. I said, you can't do that. I thought, if somebody hates my book enough to write to me, I'll give them their money back. And no one ever has. And all 3 books are going to be put out as an omnibus next year if you want to wait. But why wait? What's the 3 was that? What was the last thing you bought us? I got that. All about yourself. Who is your favorite cast member in Red Dwarf? Now, this is the kind of question that gets you into trouble, because people get upset. But In Red Dwarf, it's easy because it's Hattie. Hattie's an old friend. We grew up on the comedy circuit together. And she's a brilliant comedian. She's a funny person. She's a lovely person. She was a great Holly. I'm actually quite partial to both of the computers because Norman was one of the first comedians I ever saw on the circuit. There was an old comedy club. It was called the Earth Exchange. It was in Archway, and it was you got paid. It was like 40 people. It was the tiniest place you'll ever be in, and you got paid like $5 and a vegan meal. It was a vegan restaurant, and first show I ever saw was Norman and Rory Bremner and the Port Stanley Amateur Dramatic Society. One of the guys who was in that act became Mundingus in the Harry Potter films. But Norman, it was one of the funniest things I ever saw, the first time I ever saw Norman. He just walked on stage and stood there for ages and then just looked and said, I'm not very good at parties. All right, let's keep moving here. Out of all the things you've done in your career, what has been your favorite? I quite enjoyed doing Red Dwarf, you know. I mean, I've dined out on it a lot, you know. I do signings in my books and bookshops. I see guys come by and they're the right age, and I say, hey, are you a Smeghead? And I sell a book and sign it with toast. I quite like that. I like, I did Paul McCartney's Christmas party years ago. That was kind of interesting. I got on stage and, you know, it was kind of a bad gig. It was a bit like tonight, actually. And, you know, with the audience, they just wouldn't settle down for the guy who was introducing me. But I got on stage and they just went, whew. And at the end of the show, I had a good show, actually. At the end of the show, oh gosh, what was his name? Host of Saturday Night Live. He's a writer too. Never mind. Anyway, I went up to him and I said, I'm amazed how quickly the audience settled down. And he said, I was sitting with Paul McCartney. And I said, I saw you were sitting with him. And he said, yeah. And this guy was on stage, and all of a sudden we thought we heard him saying, now for some magic, here's John Lennon. And we all went, what? Okay. God, I can't remember that guy's name. Out of all things, okay, who is it? What are you up to next? I am filming this, as I said, in a hotel room in Manchester, and then tomorrow morning I'm getting picked up at 6:30, and then I'm going to the Manchester airport, and I'm flying to Vietnam. So I'm going to Vietnam, and all over Christmas I'm going to be doing a cruise, performing on a cruise ship between Vietnam and India. So a really super duper luxury cruise ship, and I'm going to be working on my 4th novel, which is a murder mystery called The Purple Hitchhiker. I thought I was finished, but I just realized it needs some more work. So I'm almost done, and it's funny too, and it's set in Pennsylvania, and the Purple Hitchhiker it's set at this lake in Pennsylvania, and there's a church nearby, and when you give people directions, you say, turn right after you see the Purple Hitchhiker. The Purple Hitchhiker is a statue of St. Elizabeth with her hands to her sides. But a drunk driver took one of her hands out, and she's wearing a purple robe. And so it looks like she's hitchhiking, this statue. So, Purple Hitchhiker. Well, as soon as you see it, just buy it. That'll be guaranteed as well. Okay, show us a magic trick. Or anything else. Okay, magic trick. So I don't know, can we see here? Oh, here we go. See, I told you I like bananas the best. That's enough of that. Thanks a whole lot, Mark, for having me. There's my 10 questions. Buy Shadow Magic. People who are really fans of mine buy like 30, 40 copies and insulate their loft. Actually, saying that, the first book is on Kindle for 99p. As it may be a bit more expensive at the moment, but if it is, just don't buy it because there's some sort of special book deal going on in Kindle. But when it'll go back to 99p. So I mean, how can you go wrong for a quid? Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to talk to Smegheads, and I'll see you again soon, I hope. Bye.